Why did you leave a 379?
One time.
Make it.
No.
Oh, not enough.
Hook too much. Too much hook. Okay. It didn't look awful.
That was all right.
It looked okay.
It was okay.
Yeah. Just messing around with the new balls?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got DNA coil and the road.
The road.
The road.
Haven't gotten to throw that one yet.
And we got ourselves a new pink turbo thumb. Pretty sweet.
Pinky. He's got pinky.
It's my my smaller thumb since I had all those issues at the Masters.
Let's see what this ball does. Oh. That first one really went high flush. That one kind of.
Yeah, and this one kind of looked like it was a little lazy.
Got a little further down lane for sure.
I'll move left and kind of compare them a little bit.
Okay.
See what they do. I'm going to stay with the road. I'm going to go a little further left. Oh. Rotate.
Oh.
Woo! That was quick. I rotated that one. I really got going.
Really?
Really got going.
Wow. Now, do you feel like the DNA coil would do that?
No, I think DNA coil is actually going to be a little bit more tumbly, and it's going to start going more forward, so it doesn't give me that overreaction. So from that same spot, I think it'd be okay.
Overturn forward. Oh wow!
So that one slows down.
Yeah.
Right. So that
A
one
lot
really
earlier.
slows down. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, I mean, I feel like you could strike with this though.
Oh, I think honestly, I don't know. It's going to be tough. Let me throw one more. I want to see the difference here because that coil looks pretty good. First eye glance, that would probably be the choice, right? I mean, after watching me go through the face and then barely strike with this one.
Sure.
Let me get in a little bit more. That one's definitely quicker. That was better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
think that one will go through the pins better overall.
Okay.
You know, on this anyway. Maybe not on something tougher, but on this it will.
Do you feel like if you were bowling right now that, like, that would be your choice, or do you feel like the coil is still an option?
Well, the coil's definitely still an option, but if I'm being honest, I think the coil on an easier pattern like this is going to probably tumble too forward at times. When I get too far left, it might go too forward. I'm going to start leaving those wrap 10s, those flat 10s, whereas this symmetrical, strong pearl ball is probably going to continue a little better. It's a little bit quicker, so it comes off of it a little bit better. I know you don't like hearing that, but it does. It makes the motion a little bit
Quicker
stronger
down lane
overall.
for sure. Yeah. Doesn't see the front, doesn't slow down as much.
I am getting quite a ways left, but you can see how that one it keeps going.
That one didn't even look like you hit it as hard.
I don't have to. That one keeps going for me.
Okay.
So if I throw this coil, I feel like the coil, if I get it to the friction, it's going to hook and then kind of go forward a little bit on me.
So
I think that's because of the asymmetric core.
When you're bowling on tour, or you're bowling league, or you're bowling any time, do you feel like you have a lot of options like this?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter really. Honestly, whatever we're bowling on, it could be a 1-to-1 pattern or a 10-to-1 pattern. I do feel like I've got options with multiple balls to get there. It's just which one should I use in the moment.
So you rarely feel like it's this is the only ball that looks good, I have to throw this.
Right. See, right there. So
you missed that one a little forward.
So I got that one forward into the dry, and it didn't continue off of it. It just kind of, the big core in that ball made it tumble and go forward.
Yeah.
The other core being maybe a little bit quicker core, something that's going to actually stand up and
smaller
get going.
core that stores more energy.
Yep.
It doesn't slow down as much in the front.
Won't give me that.
Sure.
So I think I have more room for error overall. And when I say room for error, I'm not just talking like
left or right.
Yeah, I'm not talking about if I miss left and miss right, it's going to hit the pocket.
I'm talking about rotation misses.
Yep, misses, all the misses in the world that are still going to allow the ball to go through the pins the right way and strike.
Yeah.
So
because when you're bowling, you're not necessarily just looking at, I can get it between 7 and 10. You're looking at a zone on the lane where you want your ball to be hooking. Woo! Wow.
Yeah, we're getting them beat up now.
Now that one's really starting to hook.
Yeah. But again, it's still the motion. I still feel like it's reading the right spot. And once I get my feet into a proper zone, it's going to give me the miss room left and right. And it's going to give me miss room front to back that the ball's still going to strike.
Sure.
So like from there, I'll just get into the oil a little bit more. And I think this ball will be good enough and strong enough to still do what it needs to do.
I mean, this still has that really strong cover on it, so.
So that one still snaps the 10 out. If I get that a little right, it's going to hook even more. It's going to be high flush.
Whereas the coil from there might plaque 10.
Yeah, it'll go forward and it'll probably...
Such a big core.
Yeah.
So when you're bowling and you're trying to make these decisions, you're taking all of this into effect. You're not just... A strike's not a strike.
No. Yeah, no.
You're watching every little detail.
I'm watching things like scoring pace around me, what other people's bowling balls are doing, how they're playing the lanes. I'm looking at everything when I'm making my decisions.
So right now, if I told you we need to shoot 215, which one of these balls would you throw?
I'm probably throwing the coil.
Because it's safer?
It's safer, and I know I can throw at least a double or 2 doubles in a game with it, no problem.
Okay. But what if I tell you we need to shoot 240?
I'm probably going with the quicker response bowling ball. That's going to give me a little bit more room for error in all of the areas.
To strike.
But
when you throw that one bad, you might split.
Possibly, but I know I can throw a 5 or 6 bagger with it.
And make up for it.
Right.
Okay.
That right there is exactly what I'm talking about.
But you're banking on getting that hit if you're trying to throw that ball.
And you're not always, unless you're at Suncoast, you're not always going to get that hit.
That's fair.
That's
fair.
So it's tough. So I'm not going to be using something like this on the higher scoring pace. Maybe once they get beat up enough to where I can really get inside and start shutting my angles down.
Sure.
Then
or you might have been using that an hour ago.
Right.
Compared to now.
Yeah. So now that the lanes have gotten some transition in them, I think this ball is a little better.
Yeah.
It looks so much better. We can say that it's quicker, which it obviously is, but it's quicker and still got that rounded continuation to it. So it's making its motion and then it's driving.
So what we're really looking at is by the transition of this lane, the lane has gotten slower.
Sure.
Because we've seen that pattern kind of stretch. We've seen more oil be depleted off the lane. So now
the slower bowling balls look even more slow.
Correct.
So you go to a quicker ball
to help blend that and match up to what the stage of transition is.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I know you've done it. I've done it. How many times have you bowled and you've been like, I couldn't miss the 1-3 today, but I couldn't carry?
Oh, yeah. I used to do it all the time.
And you just complain, right?
Now I look at things a little bit different. Because, I mean, is there a bad break in bowling? Like, what would you say?
Stone 8?
Maybe.
Ish.
I mean, it depends on what it is.
Stone 8.
Because there's the 8-pin that you almost leave the 8-10, right?
Of course. But that was definitely not a bad break.
Sure, right. So the Stone 8's probably the closest.
7-10's not a bad break. Wrap 10's not a bad break. Stone 9's not a bad break.
4-pin's not a bad break.
No.
None of that stuff.
They're all your ball motion either being too quick, too slow, not doing the correct things with deflection.
Right. That's what we're looking for. So we're trying to figure out exactly what's going to give us the room for error, not only left to right, but front to back.
Sure. So when you have those blocks now, and you look back and you're, man, I threw it great, but I got 9 all day. Kind of helped that one a little bit. But so when you have those blocks and you're like, man, I got 9 all day, what do you do now? What's so different? Are you looking back saying, maybe I should have made some different choices?
Absolutely. It's always about my choices alone. Maybe I needed to make a quicker ball slower. Maybe I needed to make a slower ball quicker. I need to get the ball to read in specific spots. Like, I was getting the ball too far down lane, and I had a hard time getting it to pick up the right part of the lane closer to me. So, it's just, there's all kinds of different things that go into it, and you just got to make the right choices at the right time. So,
I feel like this is a really important part.
It might be a little bit important.
This might be a pretty important part, too.
This is the thing here.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that right there, that's 11 pins.
That's what causes most people's average to drop, is not making those spares. So when you're practicing, that doesn't mean don't shoot your spares. Yes, we're looking at ball motion, we're trying to strike, but you should still be shooting some spares to make sure your spare game is good. Because, like you say, guys that are 180 average bowler, and the first question out of your mouth is, well, how many spares do you miss in those 3-game blocks? And you're like, well, I missed 5 or 6. Well, that's minimum what, 50, 60 pins?
Yeah, 50, 60
minimum?
pins. And that's, if you're shooting 540 and to get to 180, you give you 50, 60 pins, boom, you're at 200.
All of a sudden, you're a 200 average bowler. So spares are important.
And it's the same thing going from 200 to 210, 210 to 220. A lot of times it's not that. But then once you start getting to those guys that are averaging 220 consistently, and you're talking about nights where you're like, man, I left 7 10 pins, or I left 5 7 pins, and I left these things, and I can't carry. You got to sit down, and you got to look at your choices, because everyone knows when you're bowling on a house shot, You can throw 6, 7, 8 different bowling balls and all hit the pocket.
Yep.
That's not the hard part. The hard part's knocking all 10 down. So a lot of times it can come down to those choices. It could be the ASIM cores match up better for you. It could be the symmetric cores match up better for you, depending on your center, depending on what you're bowling on. It matters. So not every strike's the same. Make sure you're doing due diligence, using your eyes, and making sure you're paying attention to the pins, the lane, and what your ball's actually telling you.
Yeah, and let's be honest, like, even when you know all these things, even when you know your ball's still not doing the right thing, sometimes there's just days when you're not going to get it to do the right thing. Sometimes when you try to get your ball to hook a little sooner, it hooks sooner, but then you big four. So then you change balls.
I can think of one of those.
Yeah, I mean.
Last game at the Masters.
Yeah.
Clips on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
That ball, I mean, JR even says it during the video. I don't necessarily like his ball choice. I didn't necessarily know what the best option was, but I just said I was going to make it work.
Yep.
And we did. So
it's just knowing what you need your ball to do and making your ball do what it needs to do.
Absolutely.
And that's so. It's not the easiest thing to do. It does take a lot of practice, a lot of studying of the game, and that's why we're here. That's why this channel's here, to teach you and to help you. And it helps us too, because now we get to come practice, come try and figure out our own garbage that we're dealing with, and you get to learn from us.
It's not like I don't have those days either.
It happens. It happens. Everybody on tour has those days. EJ Tackett's not having those days right now, but he does have those days.
I had a game at the Masters. I wrapped 10 5 times in one game.
Yep.
I can guarantee you, I didn't leave that pair thinking, man, I just threw a bad, got a bad break. No, like I needed to do something different, but just didn't know what to do.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know. So we're going to leave you here. We just wanted to let you in on sometimes making choices between an ASIM, a symmetrical ball, or any of your bowling balls for that matter. Why are you choosing these balls? Make sure you're paying attention to these things. So we're getting out of here. Lots more videos like this. Make sure to subscribe, comment, like, do all that. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.